What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's movie review of A Quiet Place Part 2. This once again is directed by John Krasinski. Now, before we begin, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button, as well as commenting below any video to watch, including this one. Okay, so A Quiet Place, the original movie, which of course starred John Krasinski, who was also director, it had Emily Blunt, Millicent Simmonds, and of course Noah Jupe, was a huge hit. It was a film that did a lot of money. It was considered a great classic suspense horror thriller, and like I said, made a lot of money, so why not greenlight a sequel, which happened literally right after, or actually right before this movie premiered. And because of the pandemic, this movie got pushed back almost a year and a half, from March of 2020 to May of 2021. And with that said, A Quiet Place Part 2 literally picks up right after the first movie ends. We now have the hearing aid situation. We have the fact that, these monsters have some kind of weakness. And basically the story is taking the idea of A Quiet Place, expanding upon it, and how does it affect the world beyond this farmhouse. And this introduces us to characters like the character played by Cillian Murphy, and of course Djimon Hounsou is in this movie. And it's basically what it takes to survive in a world where you're constantly being hunted, you have to constantly be quiet, and how do we survive in this world? So it's very much a survival story as well as being a suspense horror thriller. And so, like I said, the first movie was a huge hit, did a lot of money at the box office, and so everybody's really excited for this movie. The fact the pandemic happened really kind of, put the skids on, our anticipation for this movie. And so you come to this review and you're wondering, does this movie live up to its potential? Is it very much a successful sequel? And does it surpass the original? And I'm going to be one of those few probably that say, yes, this movie is not only better than the original, but it raises the stakes. It gives us a very interesting story, gives us Cillian Murphy, which is a fantastic actor. And this movie is more suspenseful, more horrifying. And because it expands the world that is A Quiet Place, because of this, you see more people, it gives us a much more ideological view on what exactly happened to this world, why it happened, and who these characters are and what their motivations are. And like the first movie, Millicent Simmonds, who plays the young deaf girl in the movie, is fantastic. She pretty much is the cusp of this movie. She's one person that is very motivated with, trying to be like who her father was, and she does a fantastic job like she did in the original. This is a star-making performance like it was in the original movie, and I could see her just becoming a true fantastic star later on in her life of career as an actress, hopefully. And once again, Emily Blunt's fantastic. Noah Jupe, who of course was in Honey Boy, he's been in a couple other movies since A Quiet Place, has kind of come into his own, but I think he's a little left behind compared to Melissa Simmonds, who is definitely the star of this movie. And like I said, Emily Blunt and so on and so forth. And then we have Cillian Murphy, who this movie, actually, I'll get into it. This movie is very similar to me personally, like something like 28 Days Later to 28 Weeks Later. And what I mean by that not only is the fact that Cillian Murphy's in the movie, but 28 Days Later was a very small but very expansive movie about a pandemic, about a virus that happened, about these zombies, and it's very similar in tone and structure in a lot of ways to the original movie, because of course they find how to kill the virus at the end of that movie. And the second movie expands that world and makes it much more viable, makes it much more fresh, makes it much more interesting. And so therefore, when you're watching this movie and you're going, okay, so these things are happening, these things are going to cause problems, and it takes a story that I never knew needed a sequel and actually really does a nice job with it. And that's just thanks to somebody like John Krasinski, who literally has turned into a great, fantastic, not only horror director, but somebody who has a great sense in what he's trying to do and what he's trying to say, and using the story to develop the way it works and the way it portrays itself really shows that John Krasinski is one of those up and coming directors that really has honed his craft and has become a great, storyteller, a great visual storyteller. And he's taken the script from, the original writers and kind of put his own twist on it. So we see some kind of cool Easter eggs from the original movie and whatnot. But with that said, it feels very much like a 28 Weeks Later, because it really kind of not only has a bigger budget, but it feels more scary, more intense, and things start falling apart pretty quickly. And as you see these stories start to converge and kind of diverge into the stories they're telling, I think it really works on that aspect. And it's a really fantastic thriller, really expands upon it. it and really makes me think that the part 3, which is going to happen, could be something truly special. And I don't know if they're going to go past that at some point. I hope they don't. But when part 3 happens, because this definitely leads into a part 3, I think they could really put a nice topper onto this film. And I really hope that they end it really well. But as a part 2, as a middle part of this trilogy, or as it is a trilogy now, it's fantastic. Everybody's fantastic in it. Like I said, Melissa Simmonds is absolutely on her A game. And we have Cillian Murphy. So how can you not beat that? And then, of course, we get much better look at the monsters and the creatures that we see in the movie, which are very much like the clickers and, of course, The Last of Us. This movie definitely felt a little bit like The Last of Us in a lot of ways. But with that said, the movie's fantastic. It has a lot of great moments. The ending is probably my least favorite part about the movie, just for the simple fact that it has some issues. But overall, fantastic. Definitely give it a check out. And yeah, that's my take on A Quiet Place Part 2. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the first movie. Are you really excited for the second movie? Tell me what you're feeling about what this movie is going to do. What do you look for in part 3 and stuff like that? But otherwise, thank you so much. If you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find out what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And as always, we'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.